Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them.
Yo, welcome to the party. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Charlamagne is getting called out by Rory. And for what? For what we already know. He's going to do some Tom Coonery. But old Glasshouse Charlamagne forgot that he put in a cease and desist for people slandering his name and using the same PDF file claims. And he even came after your boy, Carcino. Yeah, I was one of them. Those dudes messed up my monetization for 6 months. Back in 2018, Angela Rye and Charlamagne the God. They came after your boy's page for 6 months. They had my monetization all jacked up in 2018. So for him to be calling out Drake, talking about it's a weak move, cease and desist and all that, you were doing the same thing when they were trying to come after you. So Rory is right about that. Rory don't like you because he found out you was a Chalamagne. And that's cool. I mean, what Drake is doing is a punk move. But still, you are not the one that could really hold weight on said subject. I mean, Charlamagne literally is the epitome of payola. He was on the payroll for the record labels to promote their artists, whether it was Cardi B or whoever they had. Atlantic Records was paying the money, academics too. So the pay to play has always been a feature, paying influencers to influence their product. That's always been the norm. That's not going to change the record business. Kendrick is the new face of the music industry. Drake don't like it, but it is what it is. You don't have a hit. He has hits. People want to see and hear him. They don't want to hear you. Now, I understand Charlamagne's trying to say this is nothing but Drake's ego, which is true. But he's also making a huge mistake in believing that what he means and what he says and everything else, like, it really matters in said scenarios. It don't. When it's all said and done, what Rory was saying is true. But Rory's coming from an angle of you crossed him. So he's a little bitter at you. But everything he said about you, Charlamagne, was true. You're in no position to talk. It's really kind of out your wheelhouse. And they're just, ready to pounce. I think at the end of the day, they'll look back and say, man, we were really stupid on that one. On that one, we were really stupid. Wish we didn't do that right there, because we was kind of stupid when we did it. Might regret that one. No, I don't think a lot of people put things in the proper perspectives. But I really think that Charlamagne, his participation in all the stuff he's done on the Breakfast Club, has had a slight, political slight to all of it. And because it did, it never really got to the full potential, it could have really been. As you can see clearly, there's a problem.
Body acting like this is anything more than Drake's feelings being hurt. You are too. Ovi, be exact. Okay? He's fighting the same war that Michael Jackson fought. Drake is taking a stand for the art and the artists. People who are running with that narrative would hold Drake's penis while he pees and shake it for him when he's finished.
With a little bit of an impersonation of him that sounded like him in the video that Rory made.
Now, that's not exactly how it was supposed to go, but we are here now. Yep. Check out what Rory said to really kick this off.
I have no dog in this fight. I like Kendrick's music. I like Drake's music. I also think both of them have used bots via UMG, whether they knew it or not. What stood out to me in that paperwork was the accusation that UMG lowered their licensing rate by 30% for Not Like Us. Just a quick history lesson. How we even got to the value of what a stream is was based off Spotify and the three majors negotiating on what that value would be. What makes it even crazier is all three majors have actual stock and ownership within Spotify. That would be illegal.
And Rory also hinted.
Now, by saying that, let me put it this way. By saying that and fingering that as the main issue or the sticking point, the crux of what's going on, right? By doing that, you put in play and put in position something that isn't real, and you're about to make it real just by making that statement. Okay? The three majors owning stock in Spotify wasn't discovered once Drake decided to file or put a pre-action lawsuit into place. Okay? If they own stock in Spotify, they've been owning stock in Spotify for a very long time. Now, all of a sudden, because Drake is talking about pre-action, now it seems a little weird. Sounds a little targeted, buddy. Sounds a little targeted. And you look a little guilty yourself. But he didn't let Charlamagne's words go under the radar because, once again, this is an individual who does not like Charlamagne because Charlamagne crossed him in the past. So to hear Charlamagne say something to him is going to really trigger him in a different way. Because Charlamagne is a snake, and he did what he normally does, and he did it to Rory over his issue with Joe Budden.
Did that, hey, Charlamagne is a puppet.
Yeah, Charlamagne's a puppet. By media, he's owned by all these people, and, that's why he, lightened himself up. He did a whole bunch of stuff, to fit into this new society, waxed his eyebrows, all kind of goofiness. But this is what we expect from him. And his smoking buddy, Joe. Right? Joe Budden. Pump it up. Said these words about Charlamagne during their little beef, going back and forth. And Rory had his back.
Could also lose my integrity and start to throw stones at glass houses. I could also go spend the night in South Carolina and loan my platform to the young lady who you're attempting to settle with.
Come on.
What?
Edit. Come on. Don't do that.
Why?
That's corny.
Only for Charlamagne to dismiss a later request he had for a connection down the line.
No issue with Charlamagne. I did feel a fucking way when, because he had changed his number at that time. So I initially tried to text him direct instead. Then I ended up going, I talked to Van, Weezy, Kaz, everyone within that circle. Shit, was Hove even alive? Yeah, Hove maybe. So I was like, yo, have Charlamagne text me. It went green. He's like, oh, he just changed his number. Charlamagne wouldn't even speak to me based off that, which is fine. I get it. You have this truce with Joe and you don't want to, make anything look weird where you guys have to go back and forth with it again.
Yeah.
But to not speak to me when you were going back and forth with Joe, you was calling my phone nonstop. I'm on the phone for 45 minutes with you. Like, I helped you in so many regards when you needed something. And not to say I needed to get on the Breakfast Club, nor did I give a that he said no.
To have a
To
conversation.
not even, to say don't even give him my number when months prior to that, you was on my fucking line talking my ear off about like, why is Joe doing this to me?
Now, Drake hate aside, I do think Rory exposed something big about Charlamagne being on the payroll of Atlantic, as it is actually at the core of what Drake has been saying.
Now, shouts out to Danny from the Stop. Danny from the Stop chopped all this up. Subscribe to his page called The Stop. He does a very good job over there. I think he's pretty much paid by the Joe Budden podcast, or they give him access to promote their stuff because that seems to be his forte. If it's anything with Joe Budden, he's gonna be on top of it. So shouts out to Danny and his work here because he did a good job here. Wanted to give him his credit. It's just due. Now, Rory responded back to Charlamagne's earlier statement, and what he said was pretty interesting.
Crit after his rant about Drake.
I think it's funny that somebody is mad at Drake doing host by sending lawsuits, C&Ds, petitions about being called a pedophile when he has sent C&Ds to people because they were calling him a certified pedophile. I feel like Charlamagne would want us to defend the healthcare system and the people that are in charge. We should never question them.
That is true.
But it would make sense that Charlamagne would say something like that because he has been on retainer with Atlantic for, 15 years. So
Something
I
like
do
that.
understand why his rant exists.
Yeah.
Nobody should try to audit the major labels because they'll see Charlamagne the God as a line item.
Now, that is very interesting. Charlamagne is a line item. So that will put academics, that will put probably a lot of people. Labels use and push the narrative. Hey, Joe Budden probably is on that list. For the Joe Budden podcast, but Rory and them wouldn't know. Because they was very unaware of the business. But after this man stuck his neck out defending Charlamagne, Charlamagne went and told Joe that on the air that he shouldn't pay them more money. Like, why would he even get in the way of that business to say what someone else should be paid and shouldn't be paid? Same people you ran to say, why is Joe Budden attacking me? That's crazy. Then to send Angela Rye after me was tacky. They came after me, Choke No Joke, Star from the Star Report. And 2018. And they were more mad at me than anybody else. Isn't that crazy? Not the people that made the video and all of them. They decided to come at me. It's crazy town. Some in the water for real. Everybody just sipping it up. I have no idea what these people are doing now. Nowadays, it's crazy. So everybody's got like island fever. This whole industry is a mess. People are going in directions that don't make any sense. And you can clearly see it. Everybody's spiraling out of control. Who knows? When it's all said and done, the same person that's saying, I got your back, I'm your boy, when they no longer need you, and the person that they need is going at you, they will not have your back one bit. Not one iota would they have your back in the situation. That's the sad part. There's no integrity. Well, when there's zero integrity in the game, that's what you're forced to deal with. You got to take what's delivered, what's being distributed to you. Because everything else doesn't even make sense. But Charlamagne realizes he at a point where he doesn't need Rory anymore. He don't need them to do anything for him. But when he's in hot water, he'll run to him. And they'll be forgiving. They're going to want to go on the platform, put me on the Breakfast Club, and he'll say no. Shouts out to everybody out there. And we gone.